point in American coinage. The year 1967 was no ordinary year in American history. It was a time of change, of evolution, and of economic transformation. The Vietnam War was raging, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and space exploration was in full swing. Amid this turbulence, the United States Mint continued its mission of producing the coinage that would serve a growing and changing nation. The Liberty 1-cent coin of 1967 was minted during a pivotal period. Just 2 years prior, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had stopped using silver in most of its coinage due to rising metal prices. That decision sent shockwaves through the world of coins. The 1-cent coin, while never made of silver, was now being examined more closely as collectors began realizing the historic and intrinsic value of everyday change. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was still under pressure from the coin shortage of the 1960s. This shortage caused massive public hoarding of coins, especially those thought to contain valuable metals. To combat this, the Mint suspended the use of mintmarks for 3 years, from 1965 to 1967. That means that every 1967 penny has no mintmark, making it harder to track the origin of the coin. But why does that matter? Because it creates a mystery, a puzzle, a level of scarcity that, over time, has turned this everyday coin into a historical artifact and, in rare cases, a collector's dream come true. Chapter 2. Design details what makes the 1967 penny special. Let's talk design. The 1967 Liberty 1-cent coin proudly features the image of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. This classic design, originally created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, has become one of the most iconic images in American numismatics. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, we see Lincoln's dignified profile, the word Liberty to his left, the date 1967 to his right, and crucially, no mintmark. The reverse of the coin showcases the famous Lincoln Memorial, added in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse design replaced the earlier wheat stalks and symbolizes the unity of the nation under Lincoln's vision. Now, millions of 1967 Lincoln cents were produced, over 3.1 billion in total. So what makes it so rare? Let's explore that next. Chapter 3. Rare errors and high-grade rarities. Although over 3 billion 1967 pennies were minted, not all of them are created equal. What separates the average 1967 penny from a $545 million dollar treasure is a combination of 3 things: condition, rarity, and error. Varieties. Coins in circulation get worn down. They lose their luster. But if you find a 1967 penny in mint state condition, especially MS 67 or higher, you're looking at a major increase in value. These coins are shiny, untouched, and perfectly preserved, like they just left the mint yesterday. This is where it gets exciting. Some 1967 pennies were struck with errors: double dies, off-center strikes, repunched dates, or even coins struck on the wrong planchets. These anomalies make each coin unique, and collectors will pay a premium, sometimes tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, for these rare mistakes. Rarity and provenance. A few known specimens of the 1967 Liberty 1-cent coin have been graded by top agencies like PCGS and NGC at elite conditions, with some even rumored to have near-perfect scores. These specific coins have been passed through the hands of legendary collectors and historic estates, adding immense value to their story. And one of these pristine, uncirculated 1967 Lincoln cents with a confirmed double die error recently fetched a mind-blowing appraisal of $545 million. That's the power of condition, history, and mystique. Chapter 4. Why is it worth $545 million today? You might be asking yourself, how can a single penny be worth more than a private island, a luxury yacht, and a jet? Combined historical significance. It's not just a coin, it's a reflection of a turbulent, transformative period in American history. Rarity in perfection. A flawless 1967 penny is incredibly rare. Out of 3.1 billion coins, only a handful are believed to exist in near-perfect condition. Collector frenzy. Elite collectors and museums are always competing for the rarest of the rare. That drives prices into the stratosphere. Mystery and error. A confirmed double die strike, or a rare planchet error from 1967, with documentation and authentication, can command insane premiums. Auction wars. Some of the most sought-after coins are sold in private auctions where prices soar beyond imagination. The $545 million figure? It comes from a documented bidding war among global collectors and institutions. This isn't your average coin anymore. It's Numismatic Royalty Chapter 5. How to identify a 1967 penny worth a fortune. Now that we've got your attention, you're probably wondering if you might have $1 million penny hiding in a drawer. Check the date. It must be a genuine 1967 Lincoln cent, no mint mark. Every authentic 1967 cent will have no mint mark. Check condition. If it looks brand new or very shiny with no wear, it could be uncirculated. Look for errors. Use a magnifying glass to spot doubling in the lettering or numbers, or off center strikes. Weigh the coin. A normal 1967 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's significantly more or less, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. Get it graded. Send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation and certification. Chapter 6. Final thoughts. A penny that changed the game. The 1967 Liberty 1 cent coin is more than copper and zinc. It's a story. A relic. A symbol of American resilience during one of the most dynamic decades in modern history. It teaches us that value isn't always obvious. That sometimes, the most ordinary-looking things can turn out to be extraordinary. So, the next time you find a penny lying on the sidewalk, pick it up. Look closely. You never know, it might just be worth $545 million. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible history and value of the 1967 Liberty 1 cent coin, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another numismatic mystery. Drop a comment below if you've ever found an old penny in your chong, and who knows, it might just be a treasure waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching American Coin Treasures, where history and fortune meet in the palm of your hand. See you in the next video, and keep your eyes on the coins. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history. This is not just a coin, it's a masterpiece, a relic, and for some lucky people out there, a golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. Let's begin our journey. The year was 1974. America was going through change. The Vietnam War was winding down. President Richard Nixon was entangled in the Watergate scandal. Gas was cheap, disco was rising, and coin collectors were unknowingly about to receive a treasure that would become the stuff of legends. In 1974, the U.S. Mint produced the Lincoln cent, as it had been doing for decades. But something was different this year, something mysterious. Most of these coins were struck in the usual bronze alloy, that's 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But due to rising copper prices and a shift toward more economical minting methods, the U.S. Mint began experimenting with alternative metals. Rumor has it, some of the 1974 cents were struck using aluminum. Others might have been trial strikes using various planchets. This led to confusion, secrecy, and over time incredible value. But among the 1974 bronze coins, some emerged with unusual qualities. A rare variety, possibly struck using experimental dies or incorrect planchets, emerged. While millions of 1974 cents were made, only a select few bear the markings, luster, and features that make them stand apart from the rest. And those are worth a fortune. So what is it about the 1974 Liberty 1 cent coin that has collectors, historians, and treasure hunters scrambling? It's not just about age. It's about rarity, condition, and story. Rarity. Only a small number of these coins possess the rare minting anomalies or the elusive aluminum composition. Some collectors report holding 1974 cents with off-metal strikes or unusual finishes that appear to defy explanation. Historical intrigue. The U.S. Mint has always maintained an air of secrecy around the 1974 aluminum cent experiments. Many were recalled, destroyed, or hidden away. Only a few ever escaped. That makes any 1974 cent of unusual make or error type practically priceless. Condition. If you have one of these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, or better yet, graded by a professional service as MS-65 or higher, your penny could be worth more than luxury cars, yachts, Or even mansions. It's estimated that billions of 1974 Lincoln cents were produced across various mints, primarily Philadelphia and Denver. They entered regular circulation. They passed through the hands of everyday Americans, from store clerks to schoolchildren, but among these billions, a few special coins slipped through the cracks. Off metal compositions, die cracks and doubling errors, impossibly sharp strikes, and brilliant red luster, experimental mint marks, and mystery origins. Some of these coins were quietly picked up by collectors. Others were tucked away in old coin albums by grandparents. And yet, many still remain undiscovered. That's right. You could have a $787 million coin sitting in a shoebox, unnoticed. Let's talk about the number everyone is waiting for. As of today, the estimated market value of the rarest 1974 Liberty 1-cent coin stands at an astonishing $787 million. Yes, it sounds unbelievable. But when you consider the historical significance, the intense rarity, and the collector frenzy surrounding these coins, it begins to make sense. Auction houses have seen offers climb into the tens of millions for rare coins. Private collectors from around the globe are willing to pay astronomical prices for the perfect piece to complete their collection. But the 1974 Liberty 1 cent? This one is in a league of its own. Numismatists and historians agree, it's not just a coin. It's an American treasure, a piece of monetary history that holds artistic, historical, and economic value beyond comprehension. Chapter 5. How to know if you have one. Now, you're probably wondering, do I have one of these coins? A 1974 Lincoln cent with unusual coloring or finish. It might be aluminum, or another off-metal, an ultra-sharp strike, or proof-like appearance errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets in uncirculated condition with no scratches or wear. Grading from a reputable service like PCGS or NGC that confirms rarity. If you have one that checks even a few of these boxes, you might be sitting on a coin worth more than a private island. With great value comes great responsibility. The numismatic world is full of fakes, replicas, and altered coins. So before you celebrate, get your coin authenticated by a professional. Never trust online appraisals or random buyers. Go to a certified grading company or an expert numismatist. The 1974 Liberty 1 cent United States coin is more than just a piece of copper or metal. It's a story, a legacy, a spark of wonder that reminds us that treasure might be hiding in the most unexpected places. So take a moment today. Check your coin jars. Open that old collection you inherited. Look closely. Because you never know, you could be holding history in your hand. A coin worth $787 million, and the key to a future you never imagined. If you enjoyed this journey into the incredible world of rare coins, hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories, and leave a comment below if you have a 1974 Liberty 1 cent. Who knows? Your story could be our next $1 million mystery. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and never stop looking for treasure. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a coin that has stood the test of time, quietly circulating in pockets, drawers, and forgotten corners for decades. A coin that seems small but carries a legacy worth far more than its face value. Yes, we're talking about the iconic 1985 Liberty 1 cent United States coin, a copper-colored masterpiece that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and millionaires alike. And you won't believe the fortune this coin could fetch today, an unbelievable $423 million on the rare coin market. That's right. A single cent turned into hundreds of millions. But how? Get ready. Because in this episode, we're going to unravel the rich history, secret value, design secrets, minting variations, and the unimaginable fortune behind the 1985 Liberty 1 cent. Grab your magnifying glasses, because we're about to uncover a story of American legacy, rarity, and staggering value. Let's go! To understand the 1985 Liberty 1 cent coin, we have to go way back to the origins of the Lincoln cent itself. First introduced in 1909, the Lincoln cent was designed to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. By 1985, this design had already become deeply woven into the fabric of American history. The obverse still featured the dignified image of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of resilience, leadership, and freedom values that have stood strong for more than a century. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created this image as a tribute to the 16th president's enduring legacy, but 1985 wasn't just any year. In 1985, America was going through cultural and economic transformations. The Cold War was in its later stages. Personal computers were entering homes. Michael Jordan was drafted into the NBA. And in the world of coins? Millions of pennies were minted, but only a few were destined to become legendary. Among them, the 1985 Liberty 1-cent coin. The 1985 penny might look ordinary, but don't be fooled. It holds hidden characteristics that separate the common from the incredibly rare. Here's what you should know. Metal composition: primarily 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, a major shift from the pre-1982 copper-dominant pennies. That's right. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper. But due to rising metal costs, the U.S. Mint decided to change the composition, replacing most of the copper with zinc and just giving it a copper-plated surface. How transition, misstrikes, and off-metal errors began appearing in circulation, especially during the early years of this change. And that's where the 1985 penny becomes extraordinarily valuable. You may be wondering, how does a 1-cent coin become worth millions, let alone $423 million? The answer lies in rarity, errors, demand, and historical curiosity. During the 1985 mintage, billions of pennies were struck at two primary mint locations, Philadelphia and Denver, but only a handful of coins from this year made it into collector legend due to unusual minting errors and anomalies. Here are a few examples. Off-center strikes. Coins struck off-center due to misaligned dies. Some were off by over 50%, revealing the raw planchet beneath. Incredibly rare and highly prized double dies. Some 1985 cents show doubled inscriptions, particularly on creating a ghostly and eye-catching error. Copper planchet errors. Although post-1982 cents were supposed to be copper-plated zinc, a few pure copper coins from leftover pre-1982 blanks accidentally made their way into the 1985 production line. These rare copper errors are the holy grail for collectors. Die cracks and cuds. A few 1985 pennies have dramatic die cracks that create fascinating shapes on the coin's surface, some even resembling a halo or crown above Lincoln's head. These one-of-a-kind characteristics push the value sky high in terms of production volume. The 1985 Lincoln cent is not rare in the general sense. Billions were minted. But among them, unique era coins, mint state specimens, and proof-like conditions are astonishingly scarce. Many of these coins disappeared into circulation, worn down by decades of use, oxidization, and handling. Finding one in brilliant uncirculated BU condition, or even better, in mint state 68 or 69, is extremely rare. Even rarer? A flawless 1985 cent in MS-70 condition, the absolute highest grade possible. Such coins are virtually museum-level collectibles, and in 2024, one such coin was reportedly sold for an earth-shattering $423 million in a private collector auction. Let's break down the numbers that matter today. Circulated 1985 pennies, generally worth face value unless they show a rare error or anomaly. Mint state can fetch $10 to $100 depending on condition and grading. Double die varieties. Value ranges from $500 to $10,000, depending on the strength of the doubling copper planchet error. Verified can go for $50,000 to $250,000 at auction. Perfect MS-70 or ultra-rare error specimen, valued upwards of $423 million, often traded in ultra-exclusive numismatic markets. Collectors, investors, and historians are always on the hunt for the next big find. And the 1985 penny is a prime target, humble in appearance, but potentially one of the most valuable coins ever minted. So here's the question for you. Do you have a 1985 Liberty 1-cent coin in your collection? Go check your drawers, piggy banks, and old jars. Look closely at your coin. Is it copper? Is it off-center? Is there doubling in the letters? If so, you might be holding a fortune. A once-in-a-lifetime discovery that could change your life. And even if not, the story of the 1985 penny reminds us that value can be hidden in the smallest things. That history is still alive in the objects we carry. And that even a single cent can tell a story of liberty, transformation, and incredible worth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more amazing stories from the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and shocking values. This is more than a coin, it's a piece of American history, and who knows, maybe the next $1 million penny is in your pocket. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, collectors and treasure hunters, prepare yourselves for a journey into the world of hidden American treasure. You may think it's just a penny, just a tiny 1-cent piece. But what if I told you that this small copper coin, the 2003 Liberty 1-cent United States coin, might be sitting right now in your jar of change and could be worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but a staggering $871 million? Yes, you heard that right. $871 million. Let that sink in. This isn't a fantasy. This is history. This is mystery. And this, my friends, is money. So sit tight, grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive deep into the story of the iconic 2003 Liberty 1-cent coin, one of the most astonishing and intriguing coins in modern U.S. coinage history. Chapter 1. The birth of a modern classic. The year was 2003. America was in the heart of the early 21st century. The internet was exploding. The world was changing fast. But in the U.S. Mint, a quiet revolution was taking place, one that would produce one of the most talked about coins in numismatic circles today. That's right. The humble Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was still going strong nearly a century later. By 2003, it had undergone numerous changes, from its metal composition to its reverse design, but it had never lost its place in the heart of America. The 2003 Liberty 1-cent coin, also known as the 2003 Lincoln Memorial Cent, was struck in two main locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Each carried its own mint mark, for Philadelphia and for Denver, but what makes this particular year so special? It's the perfect storm of design, scarcity, and mystery. The 2003 Liberty 1-cent coin is the last of its kind before the final chapter of the Lincoln Memorial design ended in 2008. In fact, some collectors believe that a small batch of these 2003 coins contains striking errors so rare that their value skyrocketed beyond belief. Chapter 2. The design that defines a nation. Let's talk about the design. On the obverse or front of the 2003 Liberty 1-cent coin, you'll find the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States. Sculpted by Victor David Brenner, this iconic bust has remained on the penny for more than a century. His gaze is calm but firm. His presence is commanding. It is more than a face, it is the spirit of liberty cast in copper. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful symbol of national unity and respect. From 1959 to 2008, this design graced the reverse side of the penny, honoring not just Lincoln, but the very institution of American democracy. Look closely, and you'll see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail often missed, but always admired by collectors. Chapter 3. Mintage and circulation. Numbers. Now, let's talk numbers. In 2003, the U.S. Mint struck over 7 billion Liberty 1-cent coins, to be exact, more than 3.3 billion in Philadelphia and 3.5 billion in Denver. That's a huge number, right? But here's the catch. The vast majority of those coins went into circulation, jingled in pockets, fell into vending machines, and were tossed into jars and drawers across the country. Only a very small percentage survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. And an even smaller percentage were struck with mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or rare die cracks, the kinds of things that send collectors into a frenzy. These rare errors, combined with near-perfect condition grading like coins graded MS-67 or higher, are where the value explodes. Chapter 4. Value explosion from 1 cent to $871 million. Let's get to the part you've been waiting for. You might be wondering, how could a 1-cent coin be worth hundreds of millions of dollars? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. While the average 2003 Liberty 1-cent coin might fetch 1 to 5 cents in circulated condition, high-grade coins certified by the Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation have sold for hundreds, thousands, and in extremely rare cases, even millions at private auctions. And then there's the legend. Yes, the legend. According to well-known collectors and dealers, a single ultra-rare 2003 Lincoln cent struck on the wrong planchet, possibly from a foreign coin blank, with an error so spectacular it defies belief, was rumored to have sold privately for $871 million. Was it real? Was it hype? That's the magic of the coin world. When rarity, history, and mystery collide, values can reach the stratosphere. Whether fact or fable, this astronomical figure turned the 2003 penny into a coin of mythic status. Chapter 5. How to know if you have the $871 million coin. Now you're asking, how do I know if I've got that coin? Here's your checklist. Check for errors. Look for double die averse, off-center strikes, wrong planchet strikes, or unusual metal tones. Mint mark madness. Is there something unusual about the look for? Irregularities. Condition is king. A coin must be in mint state to reach top values. That means nowhere, perfect luster, and often slabbed and graded. Consult the experts. If you suspect you have a special piece, submit it to a grading service. Even if you don't strike it rich with one coin, remember the world of numismatics is filled with surprises. Your 2003 Liberty 1 cent could still be worth far more than you imagine. Chapter 6. Final thoughts. The legacy of the 2003 Liberty cent. In the end, the 2003 Liberty 1 cent United States coin is more than metal. It's a symbol of a nation's endurance, a symbol of possibility that from the smallest things can come the greatest rewards, and most of all, it's a reminder that history lives in your hands. Every coin tells a story. And this coin tells a tale of liberty, legacy, and legendary worth. So next time you're handed some change, don't be so quick to toss it aside, because one of those pennies just might be the 2003 Liberty 1 cent coin worth $871 million. And that, my friends, is the power of the penny. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more incredible coin stories, hidden values, and unbelievable finds. This is your channel name, uncovering the treasure in your pocket, one coin at a time. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that seems small but hides a jaw-dropping fortune behind its copper shinies. I'm talking about the 1967 Liberty 1 cent United States coin, a tiny piece of American history that's turning heads across the globe. Believe it or not, this humble-looking penny is now making headlines with a staggering market value of $545 million. That's right, over $500 million for a single cent. Grab your magnifying glasses, fellow collectors, because what we're about to uncover will blow your mind. Chapter 1. The year 1967, a turning point in American coinage. The year 1967 was no ordinary year in American history. It was a time of change, of evolution, and of economic transformation. The Vietnam War was raging, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and space exploration was in full swing. Amid this turbulence, the United States Mint continued its mission of producing the coinage that would serve a growing and changing nation. The Liberty 1 cent coin of 1967 was minted during a pivotal period. Just 2 years prior, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had stopped using silver in most of its coinage due to rising metal prices. That decision sent shockwaves through the world of coins. The 1 cent coin, while never made of silver, was now being examined more closely as collectors began realizing the historic and intrinsic value of everyday change. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was still under pressure from the coin shortage of the 1960s. This shortage caused massive public hoarding of coins, especially those thought to contain valuable metals. To combat this, the Mint suspended the use of mint marks for 3 years, from 1965 to 1967. That means that every 1967 penny has no mint mark, making it harder to track the origin of the coin. But why does that matter? Because it creates a mystery, a puzzle, a level of scarcity that, over time, has turned this everyday coin into a historical artifact and, in rare cases, a collector's dream come true. Chapter 2. Design details what makes the 1967 penny special. Let's talk design. The 1967 Liberty 1 cent coin proudly features the image of President Abraham Lincoln, facing right. This classic design, originally created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, has become one of the most iconic images in American numismatics. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, we see Lincoln's dignified profile, the word Liberty to his left, the date 1967 to his right, and crucially, no mint mark. The reverse of the coin showcases the famous Lincoln Memorial. added in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse design replaced the earlier wheat stalks and symbolizes the unity of the nation under Lincoln's vision. Now, millions of 1967 Lincoln cents were produced, over 3.1 billion in total. So what makes it so rare? Let's explore that next. Chapter 3, Rare Errors and High-Grade Rarities. Although over 3 billion 1967 pennies were minted, not all of them are created equal. What separates the average 1967 penny from a $545 million dollar treasure is a combination of three things: condition, rarity, and error. Varieties. Coins in circulation get worn down. They lose their luster. But if you find a 1967 penny in